Yeah, they were taking on a team that's beat up, that's not performing on offense, but is still super talented in a lot of spots on both sides of the ball. And like you said, hadn't lost a game at home in 32 consecutive outings. And they had it with a couple minutes left after that scoop and score play. All right, let's get to the offense first and foremost. Jordan Travis hits on 14 to 22. The offense wasn't exactly prolific or dynamic in the first half, but getting the job done. That crazy play and dynamic balancing act by Lawrence Toafili on the, I guess that was a wheel route they threw to him that he bounced all over the place and rolled off a defender and stayed in bounds. And they were making some plays in the first half.
Yeah, they were, and that's something where Florida State and Mike Norvell talked about in practice last week, that they were going to have to take advantage of every opportunity, definitely when there's big chunk plays. And Toa Philly connected really well with Jordan Travis there and was wide open, and thought it'd be a nice, decent gain, but ended up taking that down the field for 6 and stays on his feet. You'd think he's the most balanced guy in that running back room, and kept his feet in too. That was a mix of multiple things there in those 2 seconds. Acrobatics from the youngster, and he brought in some points there for Florida State. And you also have a missed extra point, which is not what you want to see too. I mean, that was going to play a big time factor if Florida State was going to try to keep a lead, put more points on the board, and extend that. And Florida State, both teams don't score anything in the third quarter, but the offense just couldn't find anything really in that second half. I mean, it was brutal where Florida State just couldn't do anything. Their running game, bye-bye, and wasn't even there. Jordan Travis was having to almost run for his life multiple times. He was able to connect a few times with some guys, but, overall, that offense that we've seen work really well the last couple of weeks was halted, and that is understandable. You're facing one of the best defenses in the country, but still to have such a brutal day on the ground is not what Mike Norvell or Dillingham wanted to have on Saturday in Death Valley.
Yeah, despite the record not being what Clemson's accustomed to, the defense, by most measurements, been top 5 in the country, points against, and in other metrics. So they still can bring it on that side of the ball. And that's really the first time FSU's not been able to run the ball this year. They had 65 yards on 34 carries. Obviously, there are sacks factored in there. But when you look at Jashaun Corbin, 3.5 yards per carry, they didn't have the ball that much because they couldn't extend drives to even get the running game going, even if they were committed to it. But Corbin only had 9 carries and Ward had 5 and Toafili 4.
Yeah, I know. Like, it was just such a weird day for them overall. And Clemson's D line came in and interrupted a lot of that, making holes for guys. But it just seemed like just didn't seem like the Corbin, and Ward was doing his thing. Toa Philly, I think, was the best back on the field on Saturday. It just seemed like he had the most rhythm and was working well against Clemson defenders. But you would think with Florida State's, you get Dylan Gibbons, who was 50-50 on playing, in my opinion, came in and was able to play Devontae Love Taylor, who is back from injury. You get your starting defensive line back or offensive line back, and there's just no running game. Guys not able to make holes for running backs. And like I said, this is Clemson's defense, and they definitely wanted to get around Jordan Travis and not have him run all over the place on Clemson. And he had a few instances where he had options, but they harassed Jordan Travis, messed up Florida State's rushing game, and that's what Venables wanted to do, and it worked on Saturday. But like I said, there was multiple times too where Florida State had chances on offense where you ruined the drive. I mean, this went back to Florida State going back to its old ways here, which on Saturday having almost 10 penalties, nine in total, 85 yards, and the crucial ones were false starts, late hits. I mean, there was multiple times where there was almost on the same drive false starts from veteran guys on that line, which you already starting off the drive, 1st and 15, you're making some moves, and then you bring yourself back and you put Jordan Travis in a tough situation because they're just going to send it on him at that point on a 1st down. And, I just heard. And then you also have a questionable late hit from Lundy on defense, which we'll talk more about. But like that, just the penalties really ruined Florida State. The week before, they only had 3, and this week they almost have 10, 9 for 85 yards. Just self-inflicted wounds, which is still a young team, still learning how to perform, how to play, and that kind of environment. And it just showed straight up this team still has a lot of growing to do.